Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm doing architecture. My project's title is Vertical Village in the heart of Auckland CBD. The projects I will aim to explore through the architectural design, resilient and sustainable way of living, working, and playing and traveling in the single complex. It will become an urban and social vision in response to increase the population growth and the development of transportations in Auckland CBD. This research is a step toward a master plan in improving the existing Auckland urban development. The questions of this research is what are desirable characteristics of mixed-use development that can provide more resilient and sustainable way of living and working in Auckland CBD toward the future urban development. According to the Statistics New Zealand, the population density in Auckland CBD, which showed the largest increase, will keep rising. The current public transport, such as bus and train, would not have enough capacity to serve the Aucklander. Currently, 85% of trips in Auckland are made by private car. Around 15,000 extra cars join Auckland Road every year. Traffic congestions therefore can become a high pressures on the resident who must commute to work Auckland CBD every day, and it has been affect both employee commuting issues and their productivity. Therefore, the new proposed city rail link, which was improved in 2014, is envisioned as a key to ease the pressures of private and public traffic congestions. The traveling time by bus or train from other suburbs to a new Auckland Central station named RTR will be effectively improved. But the transport development strategy to improve the public transport along doesn't prevent the private vehicle travel. Also, the public transport along a station along doesn't attract the development around the station. The Auckland CBD land use also analyzed in both daytime and nighttime. Most of us think that there are only office and commercial property in use only in the daytime, and the residential and other mixed use occupied only in nighttime. But in fact, we have to maintain all the buildings are occupied in both daytime and nighttime, and even they're not in use, which means the single-use building usually concentrate energy consumption during a certain hour of the day. So the first idea to improve the urban sprawl and segregated use in mixed-use developments, but without accompanying measure to make the car travel more expensive and slower, have a little effect as people will continue to make a long trip to maximize opportunity within their time and budget. So the integration of public transport infrastructure and mixed-use development is not a new concept. The following of historical cases that highlight the importance of integrated planning approach. The Canary Wharf in London is today a major business and financial district located in the West India Dock and in East London. It is a home to around 40 million square feet of office and retail space, and also is home of the headquarters of major professional service firm and banks. This master plan today began when Michael von Klim, former chairman Credit Suisse First Boston, came up with the idea of convert the Canary Wharf into the back office. Further discussion with the G, where travel state lead to proposal for the new business district. This comprehensive urban plan represents one of the largest undertaking of infrastructure development within the urban environment and encourage the continuous waterfront promenade, the creation of new public space and improved connectivities. The master plan also established essential connection to public transport, linking the Canary Wharf and central London via the Dockland and Light Rail and Jubilee Line is London Underground stations. At the moment, 80% of employees and residents currently commute by this public transit. So integrate integrated land use and transport strategies are more successful than isolated individual strategy in each field. The successful design of land use determines the distance of people travel, so the pattern of development that reduce journey distance tend to provide greater travel choice. A better plan of integration will lead to the better use of infrastructure. The compact composition of offer user and occupied who live, work, and travel here a great convenience, accessibility, and efficiency. My first case study is about the Shard London. The Shard in London is the latest iconic tower, complete in 2013, designed by architect Renzo Piano. This is the tallest building in Western Europe. The mixed-use tower, complete with the office, apartment, hotel, and spa, and also retail, with 15-story public viewing gallery. This one is sitting adjacent to London Bridge Station as part of the new development, one of the London business transport hub. The second case study is Abeno Harukas in Japan. This tower sitting above the Abeno Spashi stations, which process more than 70,000 people per day, and additional 30,000 people per day to visit department store for shopping. Abeno Harukas was not a plane in a single building, but it designed as a city. This was achieved by incorporating a range of urban functions, including train station, department store, art museum, office, hotel. The final case study is Kowloon Station development. Faro won the design competition for the largest stations. Kowloon Station, which serves both Tung Chung Line and the airport express. The apartment and office are housed in a number of towers, which is directly above the Kowloon Station. The towers are then linked together by the podium, which provide air-conditioned underground retail space and park at the level street, which make a great showcase of envisioning a vertical cities. All the case study has a similar arrangement of use, such as the apartment are on the top to avoid the noise from activity of the office and public area below, and they are also integrated with the underground stations transport hub, but different way of connection to all the other facility. Like example, the Shard, the passenger coming out from the train of all the underground, but they barely get outside before they reach in the Shard and go past nothing in the way shop, street, and business. While in Abeno, buildings opposite way, as the passenger has to travel through other facility like shopping area and food court to reach to the street level. My selected site is RTR stations. These locations provide opportunity for a station entrance on the corner of Mayoral Drive and Wesley Street as a focal point. It was also considered beneficial due to the potential interchange with bus service. Other key advantage, including they have a good pedestrian connection to the Queen Street, Ever Street, Sky City, and RTR Square, and other university. It also have the opportunity to access from adjacent buildings such as Sky City Complex and proposed Daiju development on the current bungee jump site. This is existing pedestrian density that link from the Bitromark to the middle of the Queen Street. This area will at the moment have the highest density, and when we have the RTR station, this density will move to this area and give the potential to develop for the development. In this area, there are no heritage buildings affected as well. So in the next presentations, I will aim to address my investigation on vertical hybrid building, as their structure are able to combine different programs and encourage the interaction of transport network and land use, combine the private activity with public realm, and also present my first sketch of structure building and designing process as well. Thank you.
Just go back to the site.
Which one?
Maybe,
The station?
a few, sorry. Just the site. Site?
That side.
Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, that one. Yeah, cool. Okay, so comments. Who wants to kick off? Julian?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting and very valid and pertinent question that you're asking at this time, you know, in terms of what Auckland's trying to do with the unitary plan and this whole thing of transport. A couple of things occur to me, like you mentioned London, and I just wondered, are you thinking about researching the impact of the congestion tax on trying to limit the number of cars in the centre of London?
Yeah.
Do you know about the congestion tax? As a technique of trying to get people out of cars?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well maybe it's worth having a look.
Yeah.
Just an idea. So
Yeah.
congestion tax in London. I suppose the thing that when you look at the topography of Auckland, it seems to me it's very water-based, surrounded by water, and we have all these peninsulas of land, and you can sort of see why the public transport hasn't quite ever taken off, because it's tricky topography. It's a very large area and very diverse. They're very spread out. So, you think New Zealanders, Aucklanders are happy to get out of their cars? Like, do you think there's enough actual infrastructure when it seems to me the car actually deals with our geography, topology quite okay?
At the moment, when I ask my friends that, will you willing to go to CBD without your car? They say no, because there are no parking. And I think at the moment the problem in CBD is a lot of single-use building,
Yeah.
which cause the urban sprawl.
Sure.
So when we try to stacking each single use building in one complex, it will have more land to build other functions.
I appreciate that, but where do you live, for instance?
In CBD.
Right. Oh well, you're onto it.
On Long Street.
I actually happen to live nearby here, actually, and we have found the Outerlink really good. We also happen to live we're 2 minutes from a bus stop and we're 10 minutes from the train station. So we actually do use the public transport. We've started using the transport system in the last 3 or 4 years to go to the movies or go to a restaurant, because, like you say, parking is outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I say maybe it is a tax thing, or maybe it's a disincentive to try and get people out of their cars, to force people. And I've heard the North Shore is actually really good. That shuttle thing, you worked on that, Matthew, that park, the car park thing, your detention water thing.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't they doubled that car park?
Yeah, in Albany,
The Albany,
station,
haven't they enlarged that park again?
Yeah.
So I understand a lot of people are using that shuttle into the city on the buses, but there's no trains in North Shore at all, really. And yet, there's a huge amount of people living on the shore.
One day.
Yeah, fingers crossed one day. But the other thing I would question, you showed in your sections how you had green spaces up in the air.
Yeah.
I just wonder, do you think Aucklanders, Kiwis do you think we actually can engage with green spaces up in the air like that? Like you showed in the Shard, and I think the one in Japan? When we have, like, for instance, ATS, you could argue it's a bit of a green space, and there's the lovely Albert Park, and the Domain's not too far away.
But at the moment, like when I walk along the Queen Street, there's no such a green space, and if I want to reach to another park, I have to walk far away.
Well, do you think Albert Park's that far away?
Sorry?
Albert Park by the university?
Is it far?
Yeah, is that far away for you?
For me, yeah. Like, for example, if during the working hour, I want to spend like some place to have a lunch.
Yeah. So where do you go at the moment for lunch?
Where?
Really?
I have to stay in the office.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what is your walking distance What is your preferred walking
what's
distance?
the radius?
Well, actually, the design, when I go into detail
Yeah.
for the next presentations, when the building is kind of like layout, I will add more green space, into like one complex. So people using that buildings will have a green space. They don't have to walk like to Albert Park, which is far away. And
Well,
also,
to us, I don't think it is that far, to be honest.
sorry.
I think it's only about a 5-minute walk from Queen Street. Maybe
But
10.
not only Queen Street, because I want to focus the development on other area, not only in
Sure.
Queen Street.
I just think you need to look at that because, and just take the practicality of when you're lifting soil up in the air in a big building like that, the weight of soil is really heavy, and you throw in water over top of soil to get the plants to grow because they need water. Do you know what I mean? There's some serious engineering required for these sort of so-called aerial parks in the air, and I'm not personally not convinced that I'm just not convinced about parks in the air. I don't know what the other guys think, but that's my observation. Okay, just responding to what you've offered.
Wait.
Is that enough? Okay, yes. Fine.
No,
You can pick up the loose ends later.
You can summarise those.
Yeah.
Sorry, was it?
No, it's good.
I think it's good. It's interesting.
Like I think it's the timing is right for this sort of conversation. As we intensify in the town, in the city centre, and I guess there was a lot of talk on transportation, and that kind of distracted me because this isn't really about transportation; it's about not using transportation, really. And sure, being plonked above transportation is a good thing. So that's the word TOD or transit-oriented development wasn't used. You probably want to bring that in at some point because that's kind of what all those examples you showed were TOD projects. I think also, and I love all those projects, but I was struggling with the relevance of them to little old Auckland, New Zealand, and they were real high density. I actually worked on that Kowloon, did a scheme for the Kowloon project years ago, and that's massive density. And when I worked in Hong Kong, we spent a lot of time trying to make up for the fact that when people came out of their buildings, they met street, and so in New Zealand we have a backyard. And I guess the philosophical shift that we as Kiwis need to make so we can get people out of their backyards and into buildings like this is getting them to let go of their lifestyle in the backyard, and so we need to entice them with something else. So not everybody's convinced, and it's good for young people, it's good when you're travelling to go into a tower because it's really exciting, but when you're mum, dad and kids, it's not so much. So I guess I've had some questions around lifestyle contributions. What would entice somebody into the city? And there might be a mapping exercise, and I think it's definitely that green thing, is map the proximity and walking distances to Albert Park, Victoria Park. So you could go for a run, you could walk the dog, you could fly a kite, you can do all of those things that you could do in suburbia. So if you were to demonstrate that you're actually not giving up much, you're actually gaining. Your life is better because you're in the city and you can, you've got culture at your fingertips, hospitality everywhere. You don't even have to have a kitchen. You know, you could be like, I lived in Hong Kong and I was the only people that I knew that had an oven, and everybody else just ate out, and which is great because it's cheap. It's cheaper to do
I
it that.
do the same because I live myself.
But I think when I was there, I worked on a lot of big projects in China, and they had privatised green space, and I would just say beware of privatised green space. I don't particularly believe in it. I don't believe that anybody would ever feel comfortable being overlooked by 100 different apartments. I personally would never enter. I would pass through that space, but then I would never go any slower than that. I would never utilise it. So Kiwis aren't comfortable. It's nice to have. You need green, but I don't think you can ever say, "Here's a green bit on a podium." Treat it like your backyard. I don't think they're ever going to do that. Not that you're suggesting it, but I just want to put it out there. I don't think Kiwis. That's one step too far for Kiwis, I think.
Is not St. Patrick's Square what
Right.
you are describing?
No, I'm
And
talking
every
about an
single-
apartment complex with 4 towers and a green podium in the middle.
Is not St. Patrick's Square what you are describing?
No, that's a public park.
Yeah, but it
That's
has
not-
apartment towers around it, looking into it.
Yeah, but you use it for lunch. But would you, as an apartment owner,
I
go
think-
down there and have a
I
barbecue?
think
and
that
and
is
sit?
I think that's the key
Right.
thing that I think you are suggesting,
Yeah.
which is the convenience
Yeah.
of the office worker.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, if
Yeah.
you were to demonstrate that you had, I don't know, how many people are you thinking to live in that tower?
Not only living, but only
yeah.
working.
How
operating.
many?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, well, I was about to build like more than 20 years storage. So
20 storage. So
Yeah.
how many people? Times 300 people.
Yeah, 20,000.
Hmm?
Is it? I don't know, 10,000.
No,
People.
no,
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 tower.
no, In a tower, 100 people living in your
Oh,
building.
100.
200.
200 people living in your building. If you were able to demonstrate that you can find 200 people that can work in this machine,
Yeah.
I think the model works. Because, I'm the first one that lunchtime, half an hour, I walk
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
4 minutes, and 12 minutes is too long because
Right. Yeah.
that's my an hour lunch.
Sure.
So we are talking, I
You need to ask
think,
for an hour
completely different kind of.
You need
You
an
know,
hour for
then-
lunch.
You need an hour. You work too hard, mate.
The guy that is
Just-
working in an
just
office
different-
doesn't have to
different
spend
lifestyle.
1 hour.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
so-
was thinking more of after when you get home from work, and then you go, right, I'm going to go out for a walk, or I'm going to run, or take the dog for a walk.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange kind of thing. I mean, you are proposing to park a cruise ship in the corner of Wellesley and thing, basically.
Yeah.
A cruise is not even a cruise ship, it's just a super yacht. 100 people is not really a big deal. It's something that is not going to change Auckland.
Yeah, no, it's just like improving the lifestyle, the life quality and workplace quality as well. At the moment, you see like all these single buildings used for office, just the office, like, single building use. So it's kind of boring. And I stay in the apartment as well. It's quite boring, nothing in there. So I just want to try to make it like more interesting and more like sustainable and like more activity in one single use.
So why not to put a residential tower and an office tower? Find the perfect pattern.
Well, I see.
Your hypothesis
I think
has
the
too
future
many
CAB will be
flaws.
that. Yeah.
It's like a flaw.
Maybe not.
But it's used energy and consumption is the same. Like when I
Yeah.
say about the problems, if you build two different buildings,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
It's
like,
24-hour use too, isn't it?
yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the typology of like house shops, like in Singapore, how there's a real energy of living up above a shop, a family thing. They come. Often it's food related, like you mentioned Hong Kong.
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
thing. This
Yeah,
whole
fast
incredible.
disappearing.
Yeah. Maybe you could do some tap into that energy. With that, do you know what I mean? Between work and living.
Yeah,
work and
But it's quite common in Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're Asian.
Yeah.
You know more about it than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to change the lifestyle a little bit
Yeah.
in New Zealand
Sure.
because the population is
But
going
But
up.
not too much.
But not.
Not
Like
too
if
much,
you
yeah.
need to, there's a dial of
Because we still have land to build.
fully swinging to the Hong
It's only
Kong
100
lifestyle, but you need to just turn it a little bit, and then a little bit later, a little bit later.
It's only 100 people.
No, but
sure that we can find
I
100
think you
people
get 10
to-
apartments per floor, 2 people per floor. That's
Yeah.
20 times 20. That's 400 people.
400 people.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we can find 400 people.
But the amount of money to do.
But also I wonder about, because we went to a thing last night and John Coop was talking about, he said there's going to be like 3 45-story apartment buildings.
Yeah.
You probably know more of them.
Yeah. They're all coming.
You
Yeah.
guys
No,
are already building them.
don't know.
But, and he was, so they're coming. Those
Yeah,
the
yeah.
big apartment buildings are coming to Auckland.
Yeah.
They're being built now. So you are tapped into something that is actually happening.
And a lot of those will be mixed use too.
Did you
And
know
it
that
may
the-
not be a big split. It might be
the one on
2 floors.
Bungee jump on the side bungee jump.
Well, the CAB building, the current, what was the council building, and back end of Aotea Square,
Yeah.
that's going to be that. And then the spaces between the buildings will be proper public realm, so that won't be privatised. anybody had better move through it, and then it gets privatised as you move through the building. But I guess my other point too was going to be, would it be a step too far for Kiwis not to at least be able to step outside and smell
Yeah.
the air? You must have a balcony, and you must have somewhere to put a
Air
pot plant and
conditioning.
grow some thyme, I think it's that incremental change. If you were to map, if you were to graph, how much change can we accommodate, long term and short term, that would help you to determine
Yeah.
how far you can dial that change up, I think.
Can you have a balcony in a 45-story building?
Yeah,
So, he's
I
got
don't
safety
know, I
for
guess
falling.
so. Just be careful.
And don't,
But you're going to die just as much from 20 floors as
If
you
you
are.
go to your sketch,
It's like
Yeah.
Nguyen
you
45.
just go to
They
the
seem to put
sketch. What
restrictions
is
on
the
the
sketch
windows.
about?
The sketch about.
Yeah, the
Um,
sketch. The next slide. If you go to the drawing, the hand drawing.
No, just example. But like I try to sketch how the transportation hub connected to the buildings
Yeah,
and how the people travel in the buildings to the to the street level, and the people from the street from the train go out, like reach other facility in the building and reach to the street level. So here,
mm.
so it's not only the building itself, but also the transportation integration as well.
So, so what's the end product? You're going to design a building,
A tower.
a tower.
A tower which contain apartment,
Yeah, of course,
workplace,
yeah.
and transportation.
So basically, it's going to be
That's
plans, sections, perspectives. It's basically a building,
Yeah, and
building
interior,
design,
and interior as well.
interiors. Yeah,
Wow.
which will answer your
Yep.
address your research
It's
question.
more about we'll show the lifestyle, how people live and work inside as well,
How can,
not just outside.
Yeah, how they can
Live.
live this new, how this building will engender a new kind of way of living for Aucklanders.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Mm.
And so are we believing that?
Yeah, I believe
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
If we go back to the
It just may not be that.
like the design at the moment,
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if I build up on the top something more interesting, more activity, not just the transportation.
Yeah.
So is that a?
I think there is going to be above site tower there, I believe.
Is that five? Is that what they're saying? A 5-story building?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Well, not the tower.
Is that what they propose?
No, they did you work in the Chessmate? You should know the.
Well,
you doing this?
I, not personally,
No.
but I recognise those
That's
images.
right.
But yeah, but I don't think we're doing somebody else will do the tower.
Okay,
Yeah.
So is that a cut-off tower or is that 5 stories? Do you know?
I think yeah.
I think they'll probably it'll be whatever. Yeah. Whoever wants to build one. Yeah.
Okay.
But it won't be government funded.
No.
So this is totally different. Like you guys doing the station underground and then the building on top, and someone do it.
I believe it'll be market driven. Somebody
Okay.
else will do that. Yeah. The government wouldn't fund a building.
Okay.
Yeah. They just provide the opportunity.
But when they decide to, if they have decide, like my one decide to have a building on the top, it should be connected to the station as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
So the design of the station affected by.
Yeah, and whoever builds that building would absolutely demand it and it would be well within their rights to want to have full accessibility, because otherwise, that's the sales pitch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to that.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a mini building already on the books like that, or has been on the books for
Yeah.
the last decade, which is the building that is going above Britomar.
Yeah.
So, and
Oh,
what
yeah,
was there?
Affinity building.
So it's only, that one is only, or is supposed to be, I suppose, only 12 story high, but it's the same model. You go, the car park where all the little things are in Britomar?
Yep.
There's supposed to be a building there eventually, don't know, maybe in the next decade or
Yeah,
whenever,
maybe.
12-story high on top of that part of the station, a mixed used building. So what you are proposing has been proposed for the last 10 years at least
Yeah.
in the CBD in a smaller scale. The part that I cannot really see is or maybe, you know, I don't know enough. You have not explained really why the combination of all these things, nature, landscape, work, and whatever, and living, I suppose, they are better in a single building than a city. I don't get that.
But it's happening in Sydney a lot. We can have a discussion, can't we?
Cantonese answer.
Yeah.
Is
Why
it-
doing it in a single building is better?
Because this has been a question all from the beginning, really, hasn't it, Catherine?
Yeah.
So you mean like
Why is better in a
But
single
better in
building
the-
than doing it in a block, in a super block? Why you cannot use the station here and then repurpose the old Auckland City building, which is only
Bledisloe House.
Bledisloe House, 150 meters away from there? Why you cannot make work your model using that building and the new station?
Mm-hmm.
But I have been in a few buildings in along the Queen Street, and it's quite boring. And when I start
I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah, well, I just want to go detail when I design buildings. It should have contained more activity in the building, not just living, like you say. You mean like why we don't separate?
Yeah.
Why don't you build two buildings on the site?
Yeah.
Like as I said before, like
Energy, economy.
It's still waste the energy consumption.
But it's like maybe one of the
Yeah, I hear
favourite
what you're
buildings,
saying.
Philip Fox building. Phillips Fox in the corner of Victoria and
Yeah, the two towers.
It's got two towers,
You live
yeah.
in one and you work in the other.
has a podium in the middle,
Oh.
which has a could have
I
a garden
suppose
on
that
top.
the part that that I'm really against it, is creating a little village in the middle of town.
Okay.
The city per se is coming down, walking, using the street, public space, interacting with other people. It's not, here is my building, I don't need to live. I live only to go on overseas trips. You know? I mean, that is kind of...
I go up to the fifth floor to the garden. I go up to the roof to the restaurant.
To the restaurant, I will never have to leave my building, you know, and that does not, or at least on paper, unless that you kind of propose an urban argument, does not improve the city. It
It's
just
in-
creates...
It's like a new gated community.
Yeah, correct.
But it's kind of like when you go down to the restaurant in the same building, you can communicate or you can have an open workplace
Mm.
and you can make more connections. Then
But
you,
why not make the connect? Why that in a single building is better than doing it across the city within a reachable distance?
But at the moment, there's no space to do the like a village like in horizontal design. At the moment,
Sorry, but like, but when I go to CBD, you know, I go to a bar, you know, I like, and then meet some friends, and then I walk around the corner, and there's like a little Korean, you know, kind of hole in the wall. I have some food there. Then I go, you know, so I walk around the city and do these sort of things. And you're saying I'm going to do that all in this one tower.
like a vertical
Beautiful thing.
city.
Yeah.
But is she saying that? Because I think the chances of you living there and working there are pretty slim.
That's the whole point.
No, but that's
the whole point.
Is it?
she's
Okay, well-
promoting that.
Oh, no, she's
putting
promoting multiple uses in one building, not the fact that you will move vertically
Yeah, you
through
don't
the
have
building.
to live upstairs and then
Yeah.
walk downstairs. It's
It's just multiple.
It's your choice.
What you're trying to do is be resilient and
Okay. So-
maximise value for money. So you build that footprint, you get maximum value out of it, and it's resilient. You can move those uses up and down.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Because we're thinking B&Z, the old B&Z
Yeah.
tower was office. Now they're turning it into apartments.
Apartments.
So,
Yeah.
but you could have
Which is an
this-
expensive
yeah,
thing to
business.
do.
Yeah.
So I guess you need to think of it like that. So because I hear what you're saying, But for me, I'd get sick of the restaurants in a week,
That's
and,
right.
and I'd be walking down the road. So we work in Parnell. Within a month, I was sick of them, and we're saturated with restaurants.
Yeah.
And even if you're in Newmarket now, there's just restaurants everywhere. But it wouldn't take you long, and you go, right, where's the next place?
Yeah.
So I think you'd get not many people would actually tolerate staying in the building doing that. Theoretically, they would, but you'd still occupy the city, I think. And participate.
It's also
in city life.
attract people from other suburbs,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
places
So
into
people would come to that building to go to the restaurant on the
and shopping as well.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
but-
you can
So the lights are always on in the
Yeah.
building,
Yeah.
always.
But I think, like, if you also think about our climate, Auckland has what I call a temperate, pretty moderate climate. When I think of, and I've stayed in Hong Kong, it's 33, 31 degrees outside.
Yeah, maybe more.
The towers are like little oases. And sure, if the shops are so good, I will spend a lot of the day in the building, but I still like to go out and enjoy some environment, some fresh air. I mean, I think Kiwis have a problem probably living in an air-conditioned environment because we don't actually need it. If we design properly, we don't need a lot of this technology type stuff.
I don't think she's saying that though, but it could still
Well,
be
no, but I'm just
naturally
saying.
ventilated and everything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you
20
should be
stories
looking
up.
at the green thing too.
It's like in Singapore, they build
Yes,
a
but
garden in the building. So I think it doesn't affect the worker because like in Singapore,
Yeah.
they do a lot of garden inside the building.
Picking up on Juan's
El
point.
barco rampante.
Okay, we need to bring it
Okay.
back.
Okay,
Last
no,
point, last point.
no.
Rampant. The rampant barrant. You never have to come out to the street level.
No, I think you
You
make it.
just jump from building,
Oh,
go
yeah.
inside building to building.
I think it's just you just need to be clear. I think Mike is getting
It's an
really
efficiency story
good. It's an
Yeah.
around
efficiency
it.
story. It's a
And
resilience
then you need to take that
story.
further and
Yeah,
make this a green building, I reckon.
yeah,
Yeah.
As an actual
Not green in colour.
Isn't
Not like the Vignoli building in Sydney, which I think is just, that's a facade only, and I think it's bullshit, basically, that sort of stuff. It's also, you need to be careful. So we're doing some research at the moment about vertical gardens, and with the health and safety at the moment, they're probably seeing the end of their days. I think it was a passing fad. So,
I mean, people
yeah.
gardening on those.
Well, you're maintaining them.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do it? It's horrible, isn't it? We've made the world too safe. But,
Okay, so I think that's a really good steer for you.
Yeah.
And
Very helpful.
I think it's helpful for you for the next class. Yeah.
Mm.
That's great.
That's
Well
good.
done. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
look forward to the building.
Yeah.